The corridors of the Arinder Orbital Complex were unusually quiet for a Monday cycle. My boots clicked against the polished alloy floors as I approached the medical bay. I had been assigned to the research division, a coveted posting for young cadets like me, yet nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to encounter. Dr. Lasara Vey, the chief xenobiologist, was already at her station, her tall frame bending over a gleaming console of glass and metal. Her eyes were fixed on the monitor, and I noticed a faint tremor in her fingers. It was subtle, almost human, but Lasara was far from ordinary. Among the Arendorians, she was renowned for her precision, her intelligence, and her cold logic. That day, however, something was different. "Cadet Riel," she said without looking up. "Step closer." I complied, though unease tightened in my chest. She had prepared a small scanning device, one that hummed with an energy signature I had never encountered. It was designed for blood analysis, but something in her demeanor suggested this was no routine scan. "Your vitals are unusual," she murmured, finally meeting my gaze. Her eyes widened slightly, though she quickly masked it with her professional composure. I tilted my head. "Unusual how?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she gestured for me to extend my arm. The scanner touched my skin lightly, and the machine whirred to life, lights pulsing across the surface in rapid, chaotic patterns. I had never seen a readout fluctuate like this, biological markers that defied the known parameters for human or Arendorian physiology. This can't be right," Lasara whispered, almost to herself. She stepped back, her hand covering her mouth. "Cadet, your blood, it's..." Her voice cracked, a rarity for her. She straightened abruptly and pressed a series of buttons on her console, the hum of the scanner intensifying. Alarms were silent, yet the room felt electric, as if the very walls were aware of the anomaly before us. I felt a chill run down my spine. "Dr. Vey? What is it?" She turned to me, her eyes wide with something I couldn't place. Fear, awe, or maybe both. This is beyond our classification. I need the High Council immediately." The words hit me like a pulse cannon. The High Council didn't convene for minor anomalies. If she called them, it meant I wasn't just strange. I was unprecedented. The arrival of the High Council. By the time the council arrived, the medical bay was swarming with assistants and security drones. The counselors were imposing figures, clad in ceremonial robes that shimmered with embedded data threads, each representing a different sector of the galaxy. "Dr. Vey, explain," boomed Counselor Thesrin, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of governance. Lasara swallowed, her hands trembling slightly as she gestured toward the scanner. "Sir, my analysis indicates that Cadet Riel's blood contains a configuration unlike any known species. It exhibits resilience, adaptive intelligence, and," she hesitated, almost afraid of what she was about to say, "quantum synaptic signaling patterns. In simpler terms, his blood is alive in ways we've never seen." A hush fell over the room. Counselor Thesrin's eyes narrowed, scanning me with a depth that made me feel naked. "Alive in what way?" Lasara hesitated, then admitted, "It reacts to stimuli, environment, and even intent. I cannot predict what it will do next, but it has potential, immense potential." Another counselor, a wiry figure named Elrin, stepped forward. "Potential for what?" Lasara's gaze flicked to me. "Cadet Riel, you may possess the ability to interface with technology, organisms, even energy fields at a cellular level. Your blood could adapt to almost any threat or environment. It is evolution in real time." I felt my stomach drop. Evolution in real time? That was impossible. Or, at least, it had been impossible until now. "The testing begins." Despite the council's presence, Dr. Vey insisted on further testing. I was moved to a sterile chamber, isolated from all but her and a select few assistants. The tests began cautiously. First, microscopic observation, then exposure to various controlled stimuli. Every time, my blood reacted, healing, adapting, and reorganizing itself at rates no human tissue could manage. One test involved exposure to an energy field meant to simulate a solar flare. Normally, even Arendorian cells would suffer extreme mutation or death. My blood, however, began to glow faintly, stabilizing the surrounding tissue instead of deteriorating. Fascinating, impossible, Dr. Vey muttered. She kept notes rapidly, her mind racing with implications. Then came the final test: interaction with synthetic nanites designed for biological integration. The nanites approached my bloodstream, expecting resistance or rejection. Instead, they integrated seamlessly, forming a symbiotic network. I could feel it, not just in my veins, but in my thoughts. My awareness expanded, connecting with the nanites as if they were extensions of my own body. Lasara staggered back, almost shouting, This is beyond our understanding. Cadet Riel, you could be the key to interstellar adaptation. Or a weapon. The political storm. Word of my abilities spread like a supernova. Within hours, every sector of the galaxy had sent envoys and spies to observe or exploit this phenomenon. The High Council argued over containment, guidance, and security. Some feared I could destabilize the balance of power. Others, particularly those who valued progress, saw me as a tool for survival, a living bridge to new technologies. I was caught in the middle, my own thoughts a whirlwind of confusion. I had never asked for this responsibility. I was just a cadet, a young human far from home. Yet the galaxy suddenly looked at me as something more than human. One evening, as Lasara worked late in the lab, she finally spoke plainly. Riel, you need to understand the risks. There are factions that will try to use you as a weapon. Others will try to control or isolate you. The question is, will you let them? I stared at her, the weight of her words pressing down. But what am I? If my blood can do all this, am I still me? She paused, her eyes softening. You are still you, but you have the chance to become something more. Something the galaxy has never seen. The first contact crisis. Weeks passed, and the Council arranged a high-priority mission to the Zytheria Prime. A previously unexplored world had begun emitting strange energy signals, and attempts to investigate had failed. Robots and probes were destroyed or corrupted almost instantly. I was sent as the lead operative, my unique physiology making me the only viable candidate for interaction. As I descended to the planet's surface, my blood pulsed in sync with the local energy fields. The flora seemed to recognize me, opening or shifting in response to my presence. It was as if the planet itself acknowledged me. Then, we found the source, a massive crystalline entity, semi-conscious, pulsating with energy. It reached toward me, not aggressively, but with curiosity. My blood reacted immediately, sending tendrils of energy that intertwined with the crystalline network. Communication wasn't verbal, it was instinctual, flowing through shared energy patterns. I realized then that my blood was not just reactive, it was adaptive consciousness. I could bridge gaps, understand unknown species, and even stabilize chaotic energy. Lasara's warnings echoed in my mind, but I also felt exhilaration. I wasn't just surviving. I was evolving, connecting with the galaxy in a way no one else could. Return to the High Council. Upon our return, the council was divided. Some envoys celebrated, calling me a savior, while others whispered fears of uncontrollable power. Counselor Thesrin addressed me directly. Cadet Riel, your actions have prevented a catastrophic failure of interstellar exploration. Yet your abilities are unprecedented. The Council must decide, what is your place in this galaxy? I stood tall, feeling the rhythm of my blood within me. I am still human, I said, but I will not be confined by fear. I will use my gift to understand, to protect, and to evolve alongside the galaxy, not above it. The Council murmured. Some nodded in approval. Others remained skeptical. But one thing was clear. I had changed the rules of existence. Dr. Lasara Vey approached me, her expression unreadable for a moment, then smiled. Riel, you've done what we only dreamed of. But remember, evolution is a journey, not a destination. And she was right. I had survived the tests, bridged alien consciousness, and proven that life could adapt in ways no one had imagined. But the galaxy was vast, and threats were innumerable. My journey was only beginning. As I gazed out at the stars from the observation deck, I realized that calling the High Council had been the first step in a story that was still unfolding. My blood might have sparked panic, but it had also sparked hope. And hope was a power no counselor, no faction, and no alien force could ever fully contain. The council chambers were tense. Whispers echoed against the tall, obsidian walls, and holographic displays of my blood analysis spun endlessly above the central dais. I stood before them, no longer a cadet in the shadows of my peers, but a being whose very existence defied conventional biology. Counselor Thesrin leaned forward, his piercing gaze fixed on me. Cadet Riel, we must decide. Will you remain under the Council's guidance, or will you chart your own course? I felt the rhythm of my blood pulsing in response, not just my own, but the collective hum of the galaxy that had begun to resonate within me during the Zytheria Prime mission. It was a decision I could no longer defer. I will chart my own course, I said, my voice steady, but not in rebellion. I will work with the galaxy, not against it. I will use my abilities to protect, to learn, and to evolve alongside all life forms, not above them. A murmur ran through the council. Some faces betrayed relief, others suspicion. Counselor Elrin, known for his skepticism, nodded slowly. Then let it be so. Cadet Riel, you are no longer merely human. You are a bridge to what we can only imagine. The journey forward. With the Council's reluctant blessing, I was assigned a new mission, exploration and mediation between worlds previously thought unreachable. My blood acted as a living interface, allowing me to adapt to hostile environments, communicate with alien species, and stabilize unstable ecosystems. Planets that once teetered on the brink of collapse flourished under my presence. During these missions, I discovered that my blood could not only adapt, it could teach. Alien species began responding to its signals, evolving in ways that allowed for unprecedented cooperation. The galaxy's understanding of life itself was expanding, accelerated by the unique resonance within me. Yet with progress came danger. Rogue factions, fearing the power I represented, attempted to capture me. But my blood reacted instinctively, creating shields, manipulating energy fields, and even forming bioconstructs that protected me and my companions. Each encounter taught me more about my potential and my responsibility. A personal revelation. One night, aboard the observation deck of the Arinder Orbital Complex, I stared at the stars. Lasara Vey joined me, her expression softer than I had ever seen. You've changed everything, she said. Not just for the Council, not just for the galaxy, but for yourself. What will you do now? I took a deep breath. I'll continue to explore, to learn, to connect. My blood, it's not just a gift or a weapon. It's a responsibility, and I can't ignore it." She nodded. "Then don't. The galaxy will follow your example, Riel. Evolution doesn't wait for permission. It moves forward, and so must you." I realized then that my journey was not about power or recognition. It was about becoming a part of something greater than myself. I had been scanned, tested, and called to the council, but I was no longer defined by their panic. I was defined by the choices I made, the lives I touched, and the worlds I could help survive. The legacy of my blood. Years passed, and stories of Cadet Riel, the human whose blood could evolve in real time, became legend. Training programs were developed inspired by my physiology. Scientists studied my interactions with alien life. Entire planets survived cataclysmic events because of the abilities I had been born with. And yet, I remained human in heart and mind. I laughed, I feared, I loved. But through it all, my blood continued to teach me, guide me, and challenge me. It was both a mirror and a map, showing me what was possible when evolution was not bound by the past. Standing once more on the observation deck, looking at a galaxy that seemed infinitely alive, I understood the truth of Dr. Vey's first warning. Evolution is not a destination, it is a journey. My blood had sparked panic, yes, but it had also sparked hope. And hope, I realized, was the most powerful force in the universe. As I reached out to touch the controls of the station, a pulse ran through me, connecting with distant worlds. I wasn't just human. I was a bridge, a sentinel, and a living testament to the infinite possibilities of life. The High Council might have been shaken by my discovery, but the galaxy had something far greater now, a path forward, illuminated by my blood and my choices. The stars stretched endlessly before me, and I smiled. This was only the beginning.